Hello there people, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well in this very horrible time and crisis, but I want to make a quick video on a very controversial topic among many people on the internet, especially genetic researchers and whatnot, and that is the Ashkenazi Jews. Now, the Ashkenazi Jews, for many of you that don't know, are a Jewish ethnic diaspora. If you don't know, there are many Jewish ethnic diasporas that left Israel thousands of years ago. All of the Jews today originate from, or have DNA that actually share from these people that left the ancient tribes of Israel. Now, some Jews went west and mixed in with the local populations there, and they became the Sephardi. And they have their own language called Ladino, but they also speak, a lot of them spoke Hebrew. And there was also a large majority of Jews that went north into the Caucasus and into the state of Khazar. And they spoke, and they initially spoke Hebrew, but then their language died out, and then they adopted a language called Yiddish, and these became the Ashkenazi. There were also many Jews that originated or stayed in the Middle East, like the Mizrahi, that are more mixed in with the local Arab populations. And there are also quite a lot of Jews that originate from all around the Middle East, and there are also even Coptic and Black Jews. But all Jews can pretty much trace their DNA back to the Levantine district. All Jews, even the black ones that look completely different from other Jews, can actually somewhat trace their DNA back to the Levantine region. So, let me explain to any of you that don't actually know. Ashkenazi Jews are a European diaspora. Now, you may understand that in the Holocaust, 6 million Jews were killed by the Nazis, and many of the Jews beforehand were persecuted. The Jews that were persecuted were mainly the Ashkenazi, and also the Sephardi, but it was mainly the Ashkenazi. This is because the Ashkenazi were situated more in the Holy Roman Empire, and the Ashkenazi were the main ethnicity of Jews in Eastern Europe. Now, it's important to understand that just because the Ashkenazi were focused in Eastern Europe, that their genetics are actually nothing in Eastern Europe. In most DNA websites and most companies, they actually have an Ashkenazi Jewish subclade because their genetics are so much different and they're completely separate from other people in, Europe. Their genes are very interesting, and we're going to get into that today. We're going to disprove a very common conspiracy theory that Ashkenazi Jews are not Khazar converts. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into this. First things first, what are their genetics? The genetics of the Ashkenazi vary from person to person, but the majority of Ashkenazi Jews actually have Southern European DNA. It's unknown as to how or why they have this genetic pool, but my estimation here is due to the many Jews leaving the tribes of Israel, moving up to the north. Many of them settled in Holy Roman Empire in Italy, and a large majority of Ashkenazi Jews actually developed this Southern European DNA. Their genetics are actually closer to that of Southern Italians and Greeks. But they also share quite a bit of Slavic DNA and admixture, and also the Khazar DNA. Now, Ashkenazi do have Khazar DNA. This is without a doubt a fact. Many Ashkenazi have ginger hair, red hair. This region, the Khazars, are generally described as having red hair and light eyes, and many Ashkenazi, in fact, 40% of Ashkenazi have light eyes and hair. However, the majority of Ashkenazi do not look like this. The majority actually look Southern European, albeit with some more Semitic influence, especially the positioning of the eyes and the nose. This is why people could always pick out who a Jewish person was in Europe, because they look different from other Europeans. If they were fully Khazar converts, they wouldn't have looked so different. The vast majority of Jews have a very unique phenotype, and all of them, especially Ashkenazi, are very phenotypically diverse, but you can see that they're not pure and they have something other than European in them. That is, without a doubt, a confirmation. You can't deny that. So, what is the conspiracy theory? Well, the conspiracy theory is simple. It's that they are not related to Jews, and that they are completely Khazar converts, and that they didn't speak Hebrew, unlike the other Jewish ethnic groups, and they spoke Yiddish. The issue with this theory is that although it kind of makes sense, it doesn't work, and there's been so many genetic testing done on Ashkenazi that disprove this. Genetic testing from companies that weren't even Jewish, so this isn't even unbiased. This is not biased at all. Like, this is completely unbiased. Genetic testing done from other companies proved that the Ashkenazi Jews do not have a majority of Khazar DNA. The haplogroups of Jews mainly range from J, specifically J1 and J2. J2 is Near Eastern. J1 is full-on Middle Eastern. And then they have E1B1B. Now, E1B1B is a very interesting haplogroup because that haplogroup is both European, North African, and Middle Eastern. They seem to have the Middle Eastern version, which is EM123, broken down into the most common subclade EM34, which is pretty much found in a lot of Ashkenazi Jews today. So, what is the most common proof of the Khazar theory? Well, we didn't speak Hebrew. Here's the actual point. The Ashkenazi had to assimilate into separate cultures in Europe. Unlike the Sephardi, the Ashkenazi were much more persecuted, and their language was made illegal. Hebrew was made illegal in Russia to study. Because of this, they were allowed to conduct it, and they had to make up a new language that wasn't even Hebrew, called Yiddish. A similar thing happened in the Sephardi, with a new language emerging called Ladino, which is a combination of Aramaic, Hebrew, and Latin languages like Spanish and Italian. However, the Sephardi, the Hebrew language was made more like, it was made specifically more legal, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't fully made illegal. There were certain participants in different countries that wanted to specifically change the legality of the language, but most Sephardi-speaking countries didn't seem to care. However, in the Ashkenazi diasporas, they were mainly situated in the Holy Roman Empire, and again, Russia and other Slavic countries, and they were much more harsh. So we had to invent this new language, and eventually Hebrew died out, to the point where Sephardi were no longer speaking Hebrew either. This is why the Jews had to reinvent Hebrew as a language, because it had died out as a language. So you can see that definitely the Ashkenazi do have these Khazar genes, but the majority of Khazar, Ashkenazis do not have these genes. Now, they do have the haplogroups. Again, G is quite common in the Ashkenazi gene pool, as well as R1A and Q, which are also found in many Turkic populations today. However, this does not mean that the majority of Jews are like this. It is a confirmation that they did mix of Khazars, but they are majority not Khazar. There's a reason why the Nazis had racial eugenics on how to identify a Jew, and how they had to pick up this. They had these eugenic theories, right? They were able to identify these things. If they were Khazar converts, they wouldn't have been noticed. They wouldn't have been identified as easily a Jew, you know? The Nazis were able to pick these people out and kill them, because that's what they were. That's exactly what they did. You know, they picked up the average Jew as having a long armonoid nose, black hair, dark eyes, and even sometimes swarthy skin, which a lot of Ashkenazi actually have a lot of these Near Eastern features. Not all Ashkenazis are actually quite light. You know, a lot of them even have these very much darker features, which is further evidence that they're not specifically converts, that they all have this DNA. So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion here is that they're not converts at all. They did mix of Khazars, but they are not Khazars at all. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is just a quick video to go over the genetics of the Jews. I'll do a video covering the Sephardi, as they have very similar genetics to the Ashkenazi. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello everybody, I want to just thank you once again for watching this video. I do apologise towards the end with the music. I had some family over and I couldn't really do anything about it, so I do apologise about the interruption. But I hope the point is pretty much across. Now, I wouldn't just state things without throwing in sources or anything like that. You can find all my sources in the description. You know, I'm not one of those people that just states something on YouTube and the sources, trust me bro, because I'm not like that at all. You can find all my evidence below. I have read into most of these shit, so I do highly recommend you read all the sources I've stated if you are unsure at what I've said is true or not. Now, I want to also clarify that I am not a Zionist. Nor do I fully support the nation of Israel. I think it's quite a corrupt state. I am just trying to prove that most Jews have a genetic similarity, if you know what I mean. They all have similar genetics, and all of them are very phenotypically diverse. So this video is just to prove that. It is not to try and create some kind of ethnic Zionist like identity. Again, that is not the aim of this video. The aim was just to simply teach you guys about the Ashkenazi genes. So I do hope that I have enlightened many people that were believers in this theory. I hope I've sort of helped you. Again, this is probably my first in-depth video, so it probably is going to be garbage. And you can see how badly it's been edited as well. So I hope you've got through it very well. And I'll see you guys next time.